Hi everyone, Mogi1 here. Just want to give you another documentary here on the RC quarter scale Dodge squad car. I know you guys haven't really seen much of the frame since I had everything all put back together, and I just kind of stripped everything apart here. What I'm doing is right now I'm installing brakes that I had ordered. This is a dual piston caliper. Basically, it's just your rear brakes for like a little 50cc pocket rocket or something in that aspect. Believe it or not, it's got a lot of force. I mean, due to the fact it is hydraulic and everything, it's got a lot of braking power. I was kind of messing around before, and I was reefing on this, trying to get it to turn, and I had this actuated, and I'm going to be locking up the wheels. I definitely know that for sure. But kind of give you an idea here. All I did so far, I just tacked on a bracket, the bracket to hold this in place, so that way I can explain this to you. As you can see, what I'm going to be doing is just basically using a bar going straight across here, depending on where I'm going to be running my actuator. But the actuator, it's a 2-inch stroke. Right now it's extended out to its fullest. It's got limiter switches on both extend and retract, so I don't have to worry about burning out the motor. It's about 15 pounds of force, so that's going to be plenty to be running the master cylinder here. And basically it's going to be pivoting here, so as the actuator closes, it's going to be applying pressure, more so right here. The reason why I'm doing that is because for the amount of travel that the actuator is going to be going, I don't want to hook this directly up to here, because there's less travel to activate the master cylinder, the plunger. There's less travel there than what there is here, so I have to compensate. And by compensating by doing this, I'm actually increasing my force. So I'll get it set up so that way when this is fully retracted, it'll be putting a good amount of pressure on here, not enough to the point where it'll be jabbing the plunger straight through the unit or nothing, but we'll get that worked out. I started painting some parts. Basically, I just painted the rear end. How I build these things, I build them so that way I can fully disassemble them. Everything from the center carrier bearing, the way this is all set up. If I want to interchange different size pulleys on here, basically I'd have to pull the rear end. So 4 bolts, the 2 shocks, and rear end comes right out. And if I'm just changing belts, all I do is unbolt the 2 bolts for my carrier bearing, drop that down a little bit, and I can slide a belt right on, and so I can interchange belts. If it'd be a pain in the butt if I had to pull this whole thing out just to change a belt. So I got that pretty well planned out. As far as carrying abilities, I welded on some handles on the very side of the frame, so you don't really see these real well. They're kind of tucked up under the car, but it works really good for being able to carry this thing. 2 guys. I think the car's reaching close to 100 pounds. Unfortunately, it is a lot of weight. Most of the weight is all in this miter gearbox, this T-miter gearbox. That's where a good majority of my weight is, because not only of the cast iron bearings, the steel U-joints, then you got your whole, granted it's all aluminum housing, but you got some pretty big gears in here, and with this being a 2-to-1 gear ratio, so it's got quite a bit of weight to it. When I pull it out of here, you'll know that there's weight. So unfortunately, the rear end of the car is pretty heavy. I have driven this car. I don't have any video footage to show you guys yet. Just minor little test runs that I did, and so far this car is ridiculously fast. It's much faster than the Silverado. Tell you that straight out. It's not the best on takeoff. I'm planning on ordering a 6-inch pulley. Right now I'm running a 5-inch. I was running that real small one. I know I had showed you in the second documentary, I believe it was, or the third, whichever one. I was running a real small pulley on there, and I was figuring with this being a 2-to-1 gear ratio and everything that there would have been enough torque, and it got the car moving real slow through the grass. It was terrible. I damn near had to kick it just to get it to go. But so now I got a 5-inch on there, and the car is ridiculously fast. Like I said, I haven't been able to find a parking lot quite big enough to max this thing out. But you can tell when the power band kicks in, especially with it being a 2-stroke. When that power band kicks in, it goes. So when I get the brakes all installed on here and get this thing back out into my test parking lot, I like to call it, you guys might actually be impressed. I know I was. But just kind of give you an idea, obviously the engine sits here. I'm running a 5.5 horse 2-stroke, and I got that kind of sitting on the floor on the side here for a little bit. I had plans on putting an electric start on there, so I'm hoping that I can find some room to do this. So, but actuator, it's going to be sitting here, and just to show you guys how the linkage works. It actually steers very quick, and there is quite a bit of force. The wheel turns real nice, and I got everything all set up on ball bearing and everything, so there's no binding of any sort. Like I said, the ball bearings here, and also down, up, and under here. So everything turns really smooth, and it's actually relatively fast for the way I got the linkage set up, and the lengths of the throw arms and everything. So everything worked out really nice there. But again, I just wanted to give you an idea of what's all going on here. So I'm looking forward to this. I was kind of screwing around with this master cylinder earlier, and obviously holding the camera and only having one hand, I can't quite show you this, but anyways, I was sitting here trying to spin this here, and I was running this, and I wasn't really putting a whole lot of pressure on it, but it was enough that you can really feel the braking in it. And with the whole rear end being posi traction, it sucks. Posi traction does suck, especially the car's got such low torque to it, so it's not like I can sit there and do donuts with it, which would be great. But I think the only way I can possibly do that is if I really lighten up the shocks, so that way as I'm making a turn where the car would actually lean. So if the car leaned enough, be able to break loose the inside wheels. And unfortunately all I would do was slide out, but it would still be cool. Anyways, like I said, with it being a posi traction, so one brake disc and You know, all you got to do is grab a hold of this, and that's going to stop everything. So yeah, it's going to have rear brakes. It'll come to a skid, but the nice thing is it will have brakes. And like I said, it is ridiculously fast. So now how I'm going to be running this actuator, I'm sure you're wondering. You can get these from servocity.com, and what they are is they are electric speed controllers. They're about $100 a piece for these things here. And what I like about it is the pod inside of here. You can make adjustments. Just for an example, I'll give you an example of running my my throttle, and this is basically fully extended. So what it's doing is it's sending I'm trying to think here. It's sending your voltage signal to here. You know, all it does is it just basically reverses polarity, which everybody knows that's what a speed controller does. Ranges in your different voltages and everything, so that way you can set your speed or whatever. Anywho, how this is going to be set up is with the limiter switches. So this is going to be fully extended. Obviously the brake isn't on, and so when I reverse on the stick, that's going to change my polarity, and this will retract. And like I said, I'll set this up so that way I am not pushing that plunger all the way through the master cylinder there. Anywho, like I said, about this pod here, you can make adjustments where if you were not going forward, you could set it up where it actually partially send voltage, reversing the polarity, a light amount of voltage. So if I all of a sudden activate the brake and then I go to hit the throttle, it'll automatically adjust by itself. So it automatically will release, I guess is the best way I can say it. So it's much harder for me to explain how this is working. I have the same concept in my Silverado, and I'm going to apply it to this car. So again, once I get this completed, I'll be able to show you more so as far as what this does and what I mean by this adjustable pod and everything. So anyways, I'm going to stop rambling. So thanks for viewing.